How's it going, everyone? Brett Mix here. We're continuing the Royal Rumble anthology today with Royal Rumble 2006. If you could please just take a second to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, that would mean the world to me. I'm trying to get my channel off the ground, and all that would help me. But let's get right to the Royal Rumble. I just thought I'd mention that first this time. The 2006 Royal Rumble right now. It started off with a cruiserweight match, a six-way cruiserweight elimination, not elimination match, but a six-way cruiserweight six-pack challenge. There you go. It's still early. I'm still drinking my coffee here. Gregory Helms, Funaki, Jamie Noble, Nunzio, and Paul London challenged Kid Cash, who was the defending champion at the time. This was full of former cruiserweight champions, so it was a nice little note there because all six of these men could have won, and that made this match a little bit more entertaining than it would have been any otherwise. Tons of near falls, as you'd expect from this match. It took a while to get going, but once it did get going, the fans got right into it, as they would with an opener of this magnitude. Royal Rumbles usually use tag team openers, but this one was solid. A lot of near falls, as I said. In the end, Gregory Helms, who dropped his Hurricane gimmick recently, pinned Funaki after a Shining Wizard at 740 to become the new Cruiserweight Champion. It's worth noting that Helms was a Raw superstar before this, and then he moved over to the SmackDown brand because of the win for the title. They always switch brands back and forth. They started to do that around this time because of the Survivor Series. Was 2 months before this. Uh, yeah, I'm not a big fan of brand switching or anything like that, but at least they made it logical with the title and everything. Up next are two terrible matches. Mickie James and Ashley Massaro. No title on the line here. Trish Stratus was a guest referee, so they were trying to hype the Mickie Trish storyline. And I get it, but Ashley is not the type of wrestler to put on pay-per-view. Not for 1 minute, not for two, not three, not four. But they gave her 7 minutes and 44 seconds. Mickie tried her best with her mannerisms, but she, like she's one of those body language type wrestlers where you can read a lot off them based on how they are acting in the ring. I talk about this guy all the time, but he's relevant in this discussion. Randy Savage, look at his mannerisms during a match. He tells a story just with his body alone. That's what Mickie is good at here, but it's not enough to save the match. I have to give it a dud. All right, the Boogeyman and John Bradshaw Layfield. Don't think this was much better. JBL did a lot of heel tactics and whatnot, but I don't know why this was put on here. Boogeyman ate worms, grossed people out, but he ended up pinning JBL after a pump handle slam at 154. No point, no substance, less than 2 minutes. It followed a dud, so two duds in a row. Now we get to something the fans can cheer about, the 2006 Royal Rumble match. Backstage, I should say, McMahon was with the ladies checking out Victoria's very revealing crack outfit, and then you got, and I'm not talking about the drug. And then you got Tori Wilson, Candice Michelle sitting on his lap. Yeah, Vince McMahon. It's all in good fun, but with the allegations that came out, and they came out from 2006, and this was the Royal Rumble 2006, so it's not so funny looking back, but nonetheless, that's what happened backstage. First, before the Rumble match, I just want to say Rey Mysterio during this Rumble broke the previous record of 102.12 held by Steve Austin. Uh, Chris Benoit held that record. Steve Austin was just a bit of it shy of that. So he held it, and he'd go on to break it with the longest record in a Rumble match. I'm not sure if it still holds up that way. We'll have to see when we get to the next Rumbles. Uh, Glenn Jacobs, Fake Diesel, Isaac Yankem, DDS, Kane. He made his 10th appearance in Royal Rumble, tying the most record with Fatu, Rikishi, Sultan. They both guys had three different gimmicks to go through different Rumble matches, but Rikishi and Kane were both tied with 10 as of this Rumble. The previous record was held by Owen Hart and Rick Martel. Before that, for most times in a Rumble, and they both appeared at 8 each. During the Rumble, Shane McMahon came in to eliminate Shawn Michaels after being distracted by Vince McMahon. This marked the second consecutive year that Michaels was eliminated by somebody other than a qualified participant. In 2005, he was eliminated by Kurt Angle, and this year by McMahon. And this was the second time Vince McMahon stormed to the ring, 2 years in a row, I should say. He didn't tear his quadriceps this time, luckily for him. So this Royal Rumble was hit and miss too. This match here, I remember they started off the booking pretty good with a lot of storylines interjecting with Triple H. He feuded with the Big Show at this time, so having the Big Show come out after Triple H was dealing with his other foes in this match made logical sense. Triple H and Ray started it out, and those two together, you just want a match. Triple H and Ray, like those two styles just clicked. Seeing Helmsley get a spine buster off the ropes to Ray, that it just looked like they had great chemistry, and I wish they would have met in a high profile one-on-one match. Is it still possible? I guess, but I'm pretty sure Triple H is retired. But I don't see a reason why he couldn't go out there and try. Uh, Rey Mysterio, as I said, started off the Rumble with Triple H. Simon Dean came out three. I always noticed, and if you go back and look, the number three spot always features as a guy that's sometimes goofy, sometimes, or is like a new heel that they want to try and get over. Like Daniel Puder in the '05 Rumble. Not saying they wanted to get him over, but he was goofy. Uh, Chris Nowinski in the 2003 Rumble. Um, you could just go back and I can't remember all the third entrants, but those are just two examples. And now Simon Dean in this Rumble. Simon Dean came out, and I believe Mysterio eliminated him, if not Triple H, but he was eliminated right away. Psychosis came out, then Ric Flair. So Ric Flair and Triple H had a rivalry going on. They went at it. Triple H eliminated Flair to the crowd's disapproval, but then Big Show came out smiling, and that's when Triple H was doing his Ric Flair impression from the '92 Royal Rumble. Oh no, oh no. And then the coach came out for the comedy spot. Lashley came out, and then Kane. So we had big men going at it between Lashley, Kane, Big Show, with Triple H still in there. Then we get to a spot in the Rumble where it's kind of fluffled in the middle. We got Sylvan coming out at 10, Carlito at 11, Benoit at 12, Booker T at 13, Joey Mercury and Tatanka at 14 and 15. So now we're getting into the mid card, upper mid card for Benoit. And the ring started to fill up at this point. Johnny Nitro, Trevor Murdoch, Eugene, Road Warrior Animal were the next five entrants. So again, the ring was filling up, and they just it was too much like a rumble where the rumble was filled up with guys and they're trying to throw them over the corner with their legs are hooked to the ropes. They never eliminate like that. Maybe in the first few rumbles they got eliminated like that, but not after this. So it's really boring to see those battle royal type spots where they just hang on to the rope because you know they're not going to get eliminated that way. It's almost never. Nonetheless, RVD returned, number 20. Orlando Jordan and Chavo came out after him, and Chavo got a big pop, of course, 6 weeks after Eddie Guerrero died. Matt Hardy, Super Crazy, Shawn Michaels were the next three. I mentioned what happened with Michaels. Chris Masters, Viscera, Shelton, Goldust, and Orton completed the 30 men. This had a good Final Four. We had RVD, Ray, Orton, and Triple H. You genuinely didn't know who was going to win this Royal Rumble because it wasn't as obvious as other years. So that's one thing it had going for it. It was weird to get the Rumble match so early because there were still world title matches, but having the Rumble placed in the middle of the show definitely helped because the undercard really sucked. But anyways, back to the Final Four. Orton, Triple H, and RVD. RVD went out, so it was Triple H and Orton, and they double teamed Ray. And then Ray had a nice spot where he did a double DDT to Orton and Triple H. The fans really loved that. Triple H went out due to Ray's prowess, and when Triple H went out, the crowd went crazy because they thought that he might be in the main event. And I'm pretty sure he did end up main eventing anyway on his own brand, but that's neither here nor there. Um, So Rey Mysterio ended up winning the Rumble at 102.12 when he eliminated Randy Orton with a Hurricane Rana. Orton was cocky, I should say, before they got to the final two. Orton was really taking his time with Rey because when Triple H was eliminated, he threw Rey into the steel steps, softening him up for Orton. Then Orton threw him out. Orton tried to throw him out, but Rey stopped that and then hit a Hurricane Rana on Orton, and Orton went to the outside, and Rey wins. So Rey's going to WrestleMania. And he did it for Eddie, and the crowd loved it. And some of the crowd, I remember not liking it because they felt it was forced. But nonetheless, I gave this Rumble 2.5 stars back when I'm reading my old review for it. I'm going to give it 2.3 stars this time because the booking at the beginning was done well and the ending was done well. The middle was just left a lot to be desired. Let's get into the two world title matches. First, John Cena and Edge. This would typically end the show if it wasn't for what ended it. And we know once I get to what ended it, you'll remember why this didn't main event, or the 2006 why that Rumble match didn't main event. We'll see why after, if you don't remember right now. But anyway, Cena and Edge would go on to have many classics. I'm not going to call this one. This one felt like one of their just a standard match. Cena had lost his title to Edge at New Year's resolution after Cena competed in the Elimination Chamber. Edge cashed in the first ever Money in the Bank contract, cash in, and he won. So Edge was defending his title versus Cena. No one really wanted to see Edge as a transitional champion, especially for his first title win. So thank God they didn't screw that up for his career, but he was, in this case, Cena regained the WWE title, becoming a two-time champion with the STFU at 14:02. Some good material, but it didn't feel pay-per-view worthy. The offense from Cena really lacked in this match. There wasn't that great of psychology. It would just featured kind of spot after spot. Definitely not the type of match that was proposed when the card came. This should have been a better pay-per-view match. Anyway, I gave it 2.5 stars. Well, I gave it 2.75 stars, but I'm changing it to 2.5. That's what I do. I read my old review. If you're wondering why I look to the side, I read my old review and then I compare it to what I just watched. And then I meet somewhere in the middle and give you the final rating if you haven't already figured that out. All right. Now we'll get to the main event. Kurt Angle defending the world title that he won recently in a battle royal on SmackDown when they had to vacate the title due to Batista's injury. Kurt Angle defended this world title against Mark Henry, who had Daivari in his corner. A lot of people were wondering why this got the main event spot, but now I'll remind you because at the end, Undertaker's gong came out. Undertaker's gong happened. He came out, and the ring collapsed, and it was a special effect. They can't do that in the middle of the show because then they got to set up the ring again, and it just had a good ending. They tried to do that Royal Rumble '98 ending with Kane setting the casket on fire. Just like a special ending for the Rumble. Now that I remember it, a lot of Undertaker moments happened at the Royal Rumble. You had this, you had the casket on fire, and you had the 1994 Rumble where he was in the casket and he descended to the roof or whatever. Really weird. Really weird. But yeah, it's all set up for Undertaker and Angle for No Way Out. But anyway, back to the match. Angle ended up pinning Mark Henry with a roll-up after Mark Henry's head hit an exposed turnbuckle at 9:29. This was a slower match. Not really much happened in the way of psychology. I mean, Angle had his strategic wrestling, and he tried to wear down Mark Henry, a bigger man, but I just felt they should have told a better story than that. I gave it 1.75 stars. So we rate this final Royal Rumble rating a 4 out of 10. Not the best show. Had some moments, but it's the Royal Rumble, man. You got to have more than just moments. Like I said, the end of the Rumble was pretty good, but overall, compared to other Royal Rumble pay-per-views, this one just doesn't stick. So I give it a 4 out of 10. All right, come back for the next one. I'm Brett Mix. Please hit like and subscribe, or just subscribe. It only takes a second. and I want to help get this wrestling channel off the floor. So I'll see you on the next Rumble review. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you then.